has outperformed the national averages. The red line is Queensland, or Brisbane actually, Brisbane, and the black line is the national average. So it outperformed the national averages a couple of times. There were some peaks. It's underperformed since about 2010. That's because since about 2010, Sydney and Melbourne have done so well, no one can keep up. Thanks, guys. Poor little Brisbane can't keep up. Interesting. Really interesting stat, more so for me than for you actually. So for those of you that aren't familiar with Queensland, Wynnum West and Zilmere are two inner sort of metro areas, 20 minutes from the CBD. One's south, one's north. There's a total north versus south kind of vibe going on there, right? It's like football teams. I own a property as of about 6 months ago in Wynnum West. My business partner, my national business manager, Jeff, owns a property in Zilmere as of about 8 months ago. Can you imagine the bets in our office? Every point of a percentage we're tracking because, I mean, I've got to outperform it, right? I'm the boss, yeah? This is a real thing. I'm currently not winning, so I've had to buy him a few lunches. North Lakes is a beautiful little housing estate. They've got employment there, the rail line's coming through, it's lovely. Like, you want to live there, right? You want to retire there. But it's 40 minutes north of the city. A lot of people here might travel 40 minutes to work, yeah? How many people travel sort of half hour to an hour to work around here? I know, it sucks, right? They won't do it in Brisbane. 20 minutes, they're out. I'd rather the government pay my wage for the bulk of it. Like, I'm out. 20 minutes, tapping out. So 40 minutes away, sorry, little mic there. 40 minutes away, the growth changes significantly, 3.8%. And there's constant supply of housing to the market. So if you're investing there, you've got a long-term strategy ahead of you, because it's going to take a while for that to be absorbed. I can tell you now, every second investment firm that only do new and off the plan are telling people to invest in areas called Oxley, Springfield Lakes, and also Ipswich. They call it Brisbane. I call them liars. That's not Brisbane. These are 40 minutes out. Some of the places we look at are Ipswich adjacent. Like, that's not even Ipswich. And they say these are going to perform just like Brisbane. I don't think they are. I really don't think they are. They're down south between Brisbane and the Gold Coast, and some are even further west. There's not a lot of employment. There's not a lot of migration. The Gold Coast is a tourism hub, and we've seen that boom and bust, and it will continue to boom and bust, I can tell you that. Tourism, this is a takeaway you want to take away today. Tourism is one of the most fragile markets out there. It's volatile, if that's your only major employment, which is the Gold Coast. And again, more units than you can poke a stick at, right? These markets don't perform. So I've got to ask again, why are they recommending people invest in an area with 0% growth or 1.1% growth when you can get into areas with 12% growth? Something to think about. What are the Queensland opportunities and the insights that are going to help you be a savvy investor? Know your demographic. And this one's a little harder to get. You don't just get this at the shopping centre, but you do get this off actual hardcore data, which we can always help you with if you need it. Areas like Springfield Lakes, Logan, Ipswich, more than 50% of the market are investors. What happens when those investors retract? I've seen it. I've managed mortgagee and possession portfolios. I can tell you now, it's a bloodbath waiting to happen. Property values don't go down. Well, they do when you buy into a volatile market. Yeah? We've got a list of 1,101 suburbs in Australia that had negative growth in 2015. This is why you have to be really strategic about how you invest. Don't go into markets with 50% more investors. That's a fragility you just don't need. You buy where the locals want to live. Yeah? 50,000 new units coming to Brisbane CBD and they already can't absorb the oversupply. It's a disaster waiting to happen. Regional markets, tourism hubs are fragile and volatile. So if you go into them, you will have to be a bit speculative. Yeah, you've got to be prepared that that market has volatility. Stick within 20 minutes of the CBD around Queensland, you'll be much safer. I'm telling you now, Ipswich is not 20 minutes of the CBD, neither is Oxley, unless you fly in a helicopter or a jet, in which case you probably don't need to buy there. Don't buy in a flood zone. Just don't do it. Your first insurance premium will be $8,000. Council have mapping. Get a hold of it. I can tell you now, it lights up like a Christmas tree when you look at it. This street doesn't flood. Cross the road and this one's in a high-risk flood zone. What? Like, just because you don't see a creek doesn't mean it doesn't flood. But just map it, check it, due diligence is critical, research is critical in that space. Again, buy where the locals want to live and renovate and sort of just get your money back. Right now, because there's so many investors buying into Queensland, they don't want to renovate. They don't want to pack up for 3 or 4 weeks and go renovate. If you're prepared to do that, there's a huge disparity between what properties are selling for unrenovated and renovated, because the investors want the finished product. So they pay a premium for it. So leverage that while you can. But you've got to be prepared to do the work yourself, because right now you can't get a trade in Queensland because they're building the bazillion units that are going up. Seriously, I mean that. A friend of mine's a developer up there, and no, we don't sell his properties. He wouldn't even dare ask. He knows he's oversupplying the market, but he's building hundreds of units, and he rang me and I said, we needed a tiler for one of our clients just to do a small tiling job. I rang 27 people, right? So I rang Carl. I said, Carl, do me a favour, lend me a tiler just for a day. He said, I'm flying my tilers up from Sydney. I can't even get a tiler. Seriously? So you've got to do the work yourself. And then also you're saving on the retail rates, there's a little bit more profit.